Hi ho hello. So it appears I gotta do one of these again, because good lord, shit keeps setting itself on fire. Anyways, this is a retrospective comm on Heaton's Fran video. I don't really feel like giving the full context, so go watch Aaron's Spockter video in the description, which goes over the Heaton situation from 2018, as well as Lio's Spockter video. Also, you might think that she's disowned it, but she clearly hasn't, as she was more than willing to downplay what she did in the Cloak and Dagger call, which will also be in the description. So, I think it is more than fair game. Anyways, on to the bitch clocking.
So, the first time, I tried to be civil but firm. Now, everyone else is going to try probably the same thing. But you know what? If anyone's gonna go ham on this glow-stick looking ass bitch, I guess it's fitting that it's me. Get your guns on, kids. It's time to party. So I take it that everyone that watches me watches Ponder, but if you don't, here's the rundown. Ponder's second video came out about the Spockter shit, and she hit the videos that Fran made. Then Fran whined like a pussy, and now we've discovered that despite her propensity for talking shit, she has some difficulty getting hit.
Gee, I wonder why, fuck nuggets. Maybe it's because she's a fucking kid! But also, not every single decision has to fucking do with you, you goddamn narcissist. This is especially proven later from her own words.
So let's rewind all the way back for a minute, back to my video on Fran. So I posted the thumbnail for the video the night before the commentary, something I try to do regularly, something I did with this video. Not too long afterwards, I get DMs from someone. When I wake up, your video has mysteriously disappeared. Now, am I saying that this person alerted you to the fact that I was making a video on you, so you covered your ass and ran away? Am I saying you did the same thing when Ponder said your community rant was material? Am I calling you a cowardly, petulant child? I mean, obviously, right?
Well, if she clearly sees the damage she caused with that video, wouldn't it make sense to just take it down and disown it? Like, sure, you could see it as damage control, I guess, but I'm gonna be so real, girly pop, that is the least charitable interpretation ever! And also, wouldn't that be more helpful to Spockter, the accused party in question, considering there are less videos going around and spreading disinfo about him? The answer is yes! Also, yeah, what the fuck do you think a kid is gonna do when there's a whole bunch of attention and ire on her, put on by far larger creators, mind you? Now, am I saying that Fran is some kind of angel that can do wrong? Fuck no! In fact, she was one of the people who were proliferating around the false allegations against Spockter back in 2018. But at the same time, she was still a kid. And so was Atari as well, who had a far bigger role in the situation, and obviously should not have been in the situation, because there's no way anybody, let alone her at that age, is equipped to handle these sort of things. Also, put a massive pin on the petulant child statement, because this will be relevant later, because it shows Heaton recognizes Fran's age.
Okay, so now my video's out, and clearly you didn't appreciate it. That being said, I wish you would have come to me directly about it instead of crying to Ponder about her comment. Now, I'm assuming it's because Ponder is the destructive force that she is, but sloppy. Now you have no excuse for sneaking around my salty ass when you could have just confronted me directly. So far, the only person to have the spine to come talk to me when I come for them is Bughorse, and I didn't even commentate on him, so make what you want out of that tragic fact. So now Ponder's video is out, and I see you in your Discord. I love the idea that you're not nearly as bad as the others who perpetuated the drama, yet here you are, playing victim like Penegrin did.
Alright, so let's read this in front of the class! At everyone, hi, this 25-year-old woman, Ponder Sprocket, made a video on me and the other people about the drama nobody cares about anymore because it's been resolved and it's all over with, but she just can't seem to let things go. Here you go in case you want to watch it. My anxiety is too terrible and I literally can't watch it because I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. So, something of note here in the screenshot, aside from, of course, some downplaying of her involvement and whatnot, is the end. So, let's pay attention to the end segment here, shall we? She says that she can't watch it because she feels like she's going to have a panic attack. Not that she is having one or anything. This will be of importance later.
Cry me a fucking river and then dunk your head in it. Maybe the crocodile tears will wash off. I got commentated on too. I had an actual panic attack because I have a diagnosed medical disorder. I was shaking through watching that fucking video, and you know what? I took Luxter's criticism. You have no fucking excuse to hide behind a shield of I'm having an anxiety attack when you committed a fucking crime, ruined a peer's reputation, and then tried to walk it halfway back.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. You want to talk about crime, eh? Well, here's the thing. While what Fran and say Penegrin have done could absolutely be seen as defamation as well as slander, here's the funny part, Eaton. While all of these things are definitely bad, they aren't exactly illegal in the way you think. Like, it's shitty to do, but for an example, say if I made a claim that Light punted my cat across a football field once online, yes, it would be defamation, particularly slander and libel, and yes, it would be shitty of me, but it isn't illegal. The only way it becomes illegal is if Light were to sue me and start a civil law case, and then, when I testify with fake claims in front of a court officer or judge, it would be considered as perjury, which, if you didn't know, has a sentence from 1 to 14 years in prison in the United States. Something Fran has not done because last time I checked, Spoctor didn't fucking bring Fran to court, you tar-guzzling Neanderthal!
Because you're not sorry, are you? According to your own words out of your own dong slopper.
Hey, remember when I asked y'all to put a pin in and not even like a few interjections ago? You know, me pointing out that Heaton clearly knew Fran was a kid? Well, Heaton, if she is a child, then why the fuck are you making sexually explicit jabs at her? Like, oh my fucking god! Like, you were in your early to mid-fucking 20s. You should know better! And like mentioned in the beginning section where I have given context about the situation, you still stood by that video and downplayed it! Not helped by the fact that you said it in the Cloak and Dagger calls. Like, holy shit, I knew you were morally bankrupt, but now we're going in the negative. Jesus, delete your account!
You stand by everything you said in that video, but removed it for damage control.
Except for the fact that through that comment, it can very easily be gathered that she still stands with her apology because she paraphrased herself with that quote. If she couldn't take the hate comments, then yes, Fran could have just locked the comment section. But then, it turns into a doomed if you do, doomed if you don't situation. Because either way, motherfuckers like you come clamoring in like rich white women screaming at the McDonald's manager, screaming damage control till my ears bleed. Like, Jesus, if I wanted to hear Gilbert Gottfried scream at me, I would just use a Necronomicon and revive him and ask him to, not some shitty knockoff of him from the 73-cent store.
Do you know what that means? It means you're still fair game.
No, it doesn't, you fucking idiot!
And it means that until you actually apologize, you're just as guilty as Pentagrin in stories.
Okay, but like, no, she isn't as bad. Like, she still wasn't good for sticking to false allegations long after the other people involved were smacked into the ether, except for Atari, who managed to actually become a better person in those stories with Pentagrin, but she still wasn't the originators of the false allegations. Like, this is quite honestly such a weird rewrite of history to try and justify your shitty behavior, considering the fact that Stories, Pentagrin, and Atari were the originators of the claims. Ergo, they did objectively worse, especially since they plotted against Spoctor behind the scenes before the Spoctor 2018 situation even happened. And while we're on that too, let's actually bring our attention over to Pentagrin and Stories, more Pentagrin if anything. So, Stories was the one who made up the claim about Spoctor and also lied about her age, as well as saying that she was 8, even though she isn't 8. And Pentagrin also in her apology also threw Stories under the bus, who was a kid at the time. So no, Heaton, I refuse to believe Fran is just as bad as Pentagrin and Stories. Fuck off.
You're the same festering pond scum at the top of the abandoned well that this drama has turned into. I'm sure a few of you still have sympathy for this little girl while she sits in her corner with her daytime soap opera performance, but don't. When Junkie questioned her, out of genuine concern, she said, "Oh no, I'm fine."
Okay, but how does this justify your behavior? Because while she's not freaking out at the moment, she still could have anxiety about watching that video. Like I said to put a pin in earlier, she said she feels like she would be having a panic attack, not that she is. Like, forgive me if my dumbass is getting a bit pedantic, but like, I'm sorry. Pay attention to the wording of what people say! Like, you are a commentator. That is literally supposed to be one of your skills that you've sharpened up. Like, I ain't expecting you to be perfect, you're only human, but also, like, actually learn how to fucking read. To think this is the screenshot that got you in shit with the community, and you didn't even read it properly! Skill issue.
So let's add faking an anxiety disorder to the list of shit Fran is guilty of.
Ah yes, fake claiming because we couldn't seem to read. Ain't that relatable and oh so deliciously cool? No! Like, you are not a doctor. And you also seem to not know shit about the law, so quite frankly, Heaton, fuck off and stay in your lane. Seriously, who died and foolishly claimed you to be the unquestionable arbiter of truth and knowledge? Speaking of the law, thing is, this sorta harkens back to yet another earlier point. It's not illegal, it's just a tad bit shitty in basically every case aside from being in a courtroom and testifying and committing perjury via the testimony.
Hey, while we're here, let's drag out this other thing she said to Junkie. My reputation is fine. Because that's what this is about, right?
Yeah, so I don't really trust that screenshot you showed because you literally only showed that part. You're cherry picking again. So, once again, I humbly and genuinely request that you delete your account, my lord.
Your reputation? Not the innocent boy that's still receiving comments about him sexually assaulting people. Not the same kid who was fucking doxxed because of the shit you pulled, and not the person that's going to have to follow this for the rest of the foreseeable future, if not forever, because of what you contributed to. No, it's about you. All right, Fran, let's make it about you. You are a miserable, pathetic child that is incapable of any kind of empathy if the things I'm seeing are to be believed.
But with the evidence you show here, this doesn't seem to me like Fran lacks empathy. She definitely is not fucking smart here, but a lack of empathy is a massive stretch on your part. And also, Heaton, have you ever thought to look in your own reflection after you said that? Because I'm gonna be so real, if anyone lacks empathy here, it's you. Although, I think if you were to look into a mirror, you would probably turn to stone with how snakish you actually are.
You are either totally detached from reality or a blithering idiot.
Too easy.
And since I'm being candid this time, I'm leaning towards both. You are a lying, duplicitous backstabber who can't be trusted as far as she can be thrown. You are a disgraceful coward who runs scared at the mere whisper of conflict, rather than facing up to your mistakes like you have some facsimile of a spine.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so, final thoughts. Oh, God. Heaton. You are easily one of the biggest disappointments I have ever unfortunately bore witness to. So much of this was basically making up your own narcissistic conspiracy theories while dunking on an at-the-time child and being incredibly revolting and putrid whilst doing so. And given what else you've done to several people like Truly, Rin, Lyo, and countless others, I don't think you deserve to have a platform. And quite frankly, I also don't think you ever deserved to be given another chance here in the CC. You are amongst some of the worst people I think I've ever covered on this channel, and that's saying something. Ultimately, since you seem to be allergic to actually saying the word sorry or taking any accountability for your rotten actions, I'll give you this piece of advice. Run. Run far away from here to your mutated, festering slurry where you belong, and don't ever fucking come back. Anyways, that's all. And to everybody in the CC and to those adjacent, thank you for your support, and stay safe. I love y'all. Oh, and one more thing, give Hivecat its fucking money back!